Today, I will be going over the complete guide to mining progression. Basically what this video is showing you how to go from very early game mining to incredibly late game mining. Now, a quick disclaimer, this is not really for Ironman players. I do use the auction house quite a bit to speed up progression in this. If you are an Ironman player, you should still be able to use this video to decent effect, but you will have to edit some of it yourself to, make up for all the auction house use. But there are several things that use the auction house, just a disclaimer. Also, another disclaimer, I am not entirely through mining progression myself, so a little bit towards the end here, you may have to take it with a bit of a grain of salt, although I don't think it's quite as complicated as the early game progression. It's mostly just by big drill, yay. So I think I know what I'm talking about there, but it's going to be very fun. I will be going through all the mining progression, what you should do, what you should not do, and how you should get through it, and it's going to be very cool. Also, if you're already a decent way through mining progression, I will have timestamps in the description so you can skip around the video as you would like. Starting out, some things that I should mention that I will not be going over deep caverns or like that because it's all pretty self-explanatory. I don't think somebody to explain to you. And also, I just need to address when people will start making money with mining. So a lot of people, they start mining and they're just like, oh, I'm going to get rich quick. And no, it's not that way. You're probably going to spend like 300, 400 hours mining all the mining progression before you actually start making any substantial amounts of money. So just letting you know right now, this will be a very long process before you can make it. Starting out in the Dwarven mines, we talk about Heart of the Mountain level. Now, Heart of the Mountain level is something that you will need in order to progress through mining. Now, what this is 7 tiers with differing things. I am tier 7. You will be starting out at tier 1. And what it allows you to do is upgrade this Heart of the Mountain tree right here, which and also allows you access to areas and stuff like that. But for the first 3 tiers, all we need to worry about is the Heart of the Mountain tree. This will allow you to upgrade things without having to spend copious amounts of money on it. This is what you upgrade by just grinding out everything. Powder. Now, powder, you get it from either opening treasure chests, which we will get into later, or mining mithril or gemstones. And you use this to upgrade your Heart of the Mountain tree. Now, typically, you want to invest in things like mining speed, mining fortune, speed boost, efficient miner, things like that. I will get into the optimal hot M trees later. People may refer to this as hot M instead of Heart of the Mountain. Basically, no, you do this thing called commissions to level it up, and there's a certain amount of XP that you need to level up each year and get to the next one to unlock mountain, which is what you use to unlock your Heart of the Mountain tree. Now, we do need to talk about commissions. Commissions are gotten from somebody called the King, or well, when you're starting out, the King. Once you get to later areas, you will be talking to emissaries, so you don't have to travel all the way down here. But we want to talk to the King, and it will pull up 3 options. I have 4 because I have a commissions milestone. Don't worry about that. It'll pull up 2 or 3 options. I think when you start out, it'll be 2. But it should be these 2 right here. Which, for me, I have Slay 50 Ice Walkers and Deposit 20 tickets during the raffle event. The event ones, they are a little harder when you're just starting out. I'd recommend not doing that. I would recommend sticking with these. Now, I'm just telling you what commissions are. We will go over how to do them later, because I'm explaining everything about the Dwarven Mines and what it is. But this is what commissions are. Now, in the beginning of starting out your mining progression, you may think you're, a little bit lost. Which, I mean, yeah, I felt very lost as well when I started getting into the Dwarven Mine. Which is why there is a certain mod that you should be able to help you. So it is in updates, and if you search for Dwarven Mines Mines waypoint, always, it will enable this thing right here, and you'll just have a bunch of waypoints pointing to every single location in Dwarven Mines so that you don't get lost. Now, I have this disabled because, I already know where everything is. But if you're feeling lost, you can just turn that on. Also, things like Bad Lion, Lunar, they also have versions of it. You just need to search for Dwarven Mines Waypoint. But for people on Forge, it is in NEU. Next up is Ice Walker Grind. Now, you're going to need to do some of this in early game in order to get a set of armor called Glaciite. Now, this is at the Great Ice Wall, and if you need to know where it is, just enable that waypoints mod, and it'll show you where exactly this is. I'm not going to go over it for the sake of time. This video is getting long already. But basically, you want to be using a pickaxe to hit these. Seems a little counterproductive, but you see that? 66,000 damage compared to my actual damage sword, which does 24k. Now, the reason you want to use a pickaxe to one-tap them is because they take like 100 times more damage from pickaxe. I don't know what the actual number is, but it's a lot more. Now, if you kill these guys enough with a pickaxe, eventually they will drop you either glaciite jewels or armor. Now, the armor that they are wearing is called glaciite, and it's really good for early game. It's going to be your first mining set. It's also actually pretty good for combat as well, but that's beyond the point. And also, it's good money for early game players. But all you want is the armor set. Which, if we get the armor set, it gives you a little bit of mining speed, a little bit of mining fortune, which is enough to start out. And it is a significant boost for those of y'all in early. Once you've obtained your glaciite set, we can actually start worrying about doing commissions and leveling up our Heart of the Mountain tree. Now, there's a few things you will need before you can start doing that. You'll want to come over to this building right here, right next to spawn, and talk to this man, Boo Boo. And from him, we are going to want to buy a Fractured Mithril Pickaxe. And now you're just going to want to put the basic enchants on it, you know, Efficiency 5, Experience 3, Fortune 3, all that kind of stuff. Just basic stuff. You'll probably have enough XP eventually. But we're wanting this for titanium. Now, in order to do commissions, we are going to need these two tools, the Fractured Mithril Pickaxe and a Diamond Pickaxe. Now, reason you don't just use the Fractured Mithril Pickaxe is because the Diamond Pickaxe actually mines faster, surprisingly. Now, this is not how fast you're going to mine with the Diamond Pickaxe. I have a nearly maxed out Heart of the Mountain tree. You will not have that. And also, as you can see right here, you need a stronger tool to mine titanium, which is where this Fractured Mithril Pickaxe comes in. Go. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because the main commissions in the Dwarven mines are going to be mining mithril or killing things. So for me, I have Slay 50 Ice Walkers. I also have Upper Mines Mithril. So in order to do that, I would just have to travel to the Upper Mines, which is way down here, and up here. If I just come up here, I will be in Upper Mines. Now, simply all I'd have to do is just mine 50 mithril here. It's not that hard. But once I have that commission done, it would give me a certain amount of Heart of the Mountain XP. Once you finish that commission, you would want to come back over to King. Now, you'll have this thing called dailies, where 4 commissions a day, you will be able to earn increased amounts of XP. So if we look here, it's not giving me any XP because, well, I'm max Heart of the Mountain, but you will be getting, from normal commissions, 100 XP, and from daily commissions, 1000 XP. Now, keep in mind, you only get those 1000 commissions 4 times every day. So what I would recommend is doing those 4 commissions every day, and then not doing any more commissions, since those 4 commissions is worth 40 of the regular commissions. So I'd recommend just doing those 4 every day, and then just leaving it at that until you reach a high enough Heart of the Mountain level. And now, the high enough Heart of the Mountain level that we need is actually Heart of the Mountain Tier 3. We need this to access the Crystal Hollows. So what you want to do is just grind daily commissions until you reach Heart of the Mountain 3. And then once we're there, we can actually start progressing through a lot of mining more quickly. If you made it into this far into the video, congratulations! You are now Heart of the Mountain 3 and have access to the Crystal Hollows. Now, in order to get into the Crystal Hollows, you want to come over here and talk to an NPC called Gwendolyn, where she will force you to pay 10,000 coins for access to a minecart, which will give you access to the Crystal Hollows. And you just ride all the way down before you can eventually skip the journey if you've gone down here before, but if you haven't, you'll have to ride all the way down. And once we are here, we will have 4 main biomes. One being the Mithril Deposits, the second being the Goblin Holdout, the third being the Jungle, and the fourth being the Precursor Remnants. every single one of these biomes will have a special type of gemstone spawning in it. In this case, we are in the precursor city, which spawns sapphire, which you will not be able to mine coming in here. And the jungle spawns amethyst, everywhere spawns ruby, mithril deposits spawns jade, and the goblin holdout spawns amber. And now way down there, way below the surface, is something that we call the magma field. Now, you don't want to stay down here, so you'll see on my sidebar, I'm getting something called heat, which if that reaches too high of a number, you will die. The only way to negate that is to have a bow pet, which makes you immune to heat. And you will not have that, it costs around 10 million coins. Don't worry about that right now. But what's so special about this area is that this thing called topaz spawns, which you can't get in any other spot other than here. Since you are Heart of the Mountain 3, you will have unlocked this NPC right here, Emissary Braum, which lets you just skip straight to the commissions without having to go down over to the king. Now, this is very, very useful because it saves you a whole lot of time, and we will be going over the commissions for the Crystal Hollows. Now, if you haven't done Crystal Hollows commissions before, they give you around 400 Heart of the Mountain XP for regular commission, and I believe it's 1,100 for a daily commission, and these are significantly easier to do. Starting out, you only have 3 of them. You will have, for me, it's 1,000 amber, amethyst crystal, and 13 goblins. If it says find an amethyst crystal, or just find a crystal in general, ignore it. It's going to be so much harder to do than slay 13 goblins or mine 1,000 amber. So quickly, let me give you an example of this. Now, if I were doing this commission, I would just come up with this thing right here, and, just start mining it. I would get it done fairly quickly. And won't be able to do that. So what we would need to do is put on our set of glazite that we had taken earlier. Eventually we will upgrade this, but you are going to need something either, where is it? I forgot. You will need a Nimbus 2000, which you can get off the auction house for around about K, I believe. Nimbus, lowest bin is okay. Now, an alternative to that is the Ruby Drill. Ruby Drill TX15. Now, one of these will run you 4 million coins, but as opposed to the Nimbus, it doesn't actually have a durability. Nimbus has 5,000 blocks that it can break before it's done, kaput. That's it. Although the Nimbus will mine significantly faster than the Ruby Drill. So I'd highly recommend using Nimbuses. It may be a little more expensive in the long run, but it'll speed things up considerably. For the next thing, we are going to be upgrading our armor set, which we will need to do inside the auction house. Now, I don't think I'm going to buy one because I already have Dwarven, but what we want is dog armor. So this will cost you considerably more than Glazite, but it is worth it. It also grants you immunity to heat in the magma field, and it gives you the health, a little bit of defense. And also for every 10 Yogs killed, which spawn inside the magma fields, they're just little magma cubes that hop around, you get +1 mining speed. So you just want to kill as many as possible with this. And this will be a considerable upgrade to your Glazite armor, providing you a decent amount of mining speed, and I'm not sure, but I think it gives some mining fortune. I'm not sure about that. But you are going to be wanting this for the next little bit. The next piece of progression will also be in the auction house, because we need to get a pet. This will be your first pet in mining progression, and it's one of the most important pets in my opinion. Actually, it can make you a decent amount of money with grinding with it, although they may have patched it. But the pet I am talking about, Armadillo. I can sell. Armadillo, okay. Now, what we need is we want a legendary Armadillo. Now, you may not be able to afford this. It is 1.6 mil. So any tier of Armadillo will work, but I highly recommend getting legendary one because it'll just increase the speed at which you can do stuff so much. So I think the 1.7 mil price tag is worth it. So what we want to do with this pillow is go back into the Crystal Hollows, and we're going to want to equip that. So if we just come up to any gemstone, also just I'll let you know. Your Pick a Nimbus and your Ruby Drill, both of those will work for this. I recommend getting a Ruby Drill though if you haven't already. It will speed up what you're able to do with this considerably because you won't have to worry about a bunch of fuel and stuff. Basically, what this armadillo does is it basically negates mining speed. For a certain amount of time, you can just go up and just straight up just mine this stuff instantly. And this will make doing all of your crystal mining comms so much easier, because this counts towards commissions. And all you need to do is just hold out your mining tool, ride your armadillo, and then just walk towards a crystal, and it'll mine it. And it'll be so much faster than if you were trying to mine it by hand. And it'll just speed up your progression. Absolute fun. This is just a reminder that even though you are Heart of the Mountain 3, have access to the Crystal Hollows, and you will be able to get more XP from commissions, you still want to be doing your daily commissions, because they will give you significantly more Heart of the Mountain XP than if you were to just do your regular ones. And if you do just your regular ones, trust me, it is painful. You will be dying if you try to grind out Heart of the Mountain just by doing regular ones. So trust me, just do your dailies. Also, something quickly to go over, I'll be showing you the optimal bottom tree for Heart of the Mountain Tier 3. Now, Tier 3, you will have access to all this stuff right here. So what I recommend is going Mining Speed, Mining Fortune, Titanium Insanium, Mining Speed Boost, and then Daily Powder so that you can get up to the rest of this stuff later. And then if you have anything left over, maybe go into Quick Forge. I don't know, it's pretty useless, but at any time, you can always just reset your Heart of the Mountain. Congratulations, if you have made it this far into the video, you are mid-game now. It's very nice. This is where you can actually start to, do stuff, and you're probably starting to feel a little more comfortable inside the Crystal Hollows. So what I will be going over, for those of you who haven't figured it out already, there are 5 different locations used for doing Nucleus runs. Now, you don't have to worry about that. I'll just be going over the locations right now. We will go over Nucleus runs later. But there are 5 locations. The first one being Crystal Nucleus, which is kind of the center point for the entire Crystal Hollows where you can go and reach all the other 5 locations. The second one is going to be the Lost Precursor City, which is where you can get the Sapphire Crystal by talking to Professor Robot. Now, the next one is going to be the Mines of Devon. And the next one after this is going to be the Goblin Queen's Den. Now, this goes hand in hand with the King's Castle, but I doubt I'll be able to find that since Wishing Compasses are doing some weird stuff and they're only pointing towards a nucleus right now, even though I'll be right next to thing and it still won't point to it, so I know I'm having to find all these manually. But the next one after that is going to be the Jungle Temple, which is a little bit of parkour to get to the Amethyst Crystal. It's very, very, very fun. The next step in progression is going to be at the auction house again, because this little part is going to be really hard to get without some very late game gear. And what we are going to be getting is a set of Sorrow Armor, which is the second best mining set in the game. Now, it's going to run you around about 7 to 10 mil per piece. It is a little bit expensive, but at this point in the game, you really should have this kind of money. We are also going to be wanting to buy a legendary Bow Pet. Now, this will, make it so that you don't take damage from heat, and also it boosts all your stats inside the magma fields, leading to like the very first method of gemstone grinding, which would be topaz mining. You're going to want to get a full set of both of those, which I do actually have, so I'm going to pop that on with my legendary Bow Pet. And now I'm going to show you what to do with this. With this new setup, you will not be wanting to really mine gemstones. You can if you want to, but trust me, it's just painful for way too little return. What we are going to want to do is do commissions. Now keep in mind, you will probably still be using Pick a Nemesis and Ruby drills, and that's alright. If you want to upgrade your drills a little bit and maybe get some of the gemstone drills, that's fine with me, although, in my opinion, it is entirely optional, as Pick a Nemesis will be better. But what we are going to want to do is just do commissions. Now at this point, you probably want to stop using the armadillo pet for that, and instead your drill, because it'll give you a little more mining fortune. Now still, you're going to be wanting to do your dailies, but now you have Sorrow and a Bow Pet. Once you have figured out how to do your commissions, what you will want to be doing is you want to do all of your daily commissions every day until you are Heart of the Mountain Tier 6. In which case, once you are Tier 6, we can get a new item. Now, you probably will not have the collection to craft this. You may, but I highly doubt it. It's under Gemstone Collection 11, and it is the Gemstone Gauntlet. This is the crafting recipe. I highly doubt you're going to be able to craft it. So what we will be doing is going to the auction house, and we will... Why did I just type auction? And we'll be getting the Gemstone Gauntlet, which lowest been 16 mil. Surprisingly, it used to be 12 mil. It's gone up in price a decent amount. But you're just going to want to buy this, and you're going to want to put like as many enchants on it as possible. I'm not going to buy it because, I have a completely maxed out one other than efficiency 10. But this is something you can do, and this is where we will first want to get into adding gemstones to items. Coming over to this building right here, we want to be taking our gemstone gauntlet, popping it in here, and we are going to want to put gemstones in. Now, the sapphire and amethyst you can ignore. Those are useless. I have perfects in there because I just like the way it looks. But what you want to do is you want to use jade, amber, and topaz. Now, you will not have perfects. I have perfects because I grinded them out. You will probably be using fine gemstones, which you can find on the bazaar once you search up a gemstone. And you can find all kinds of fine gemstones. You will just be wanting to use fine jade, fine topaz, and also, I'm not sure where it is, but, fine amber as well. And that will carry you most of the way through your mining progression. At this point in the game, your mining setup is starting to get pretty good. You have a gemstone gauntlet and sorrow armor, which means you will have some decent mining speed. Mine is 3,139, you'll probably have around 2,000. But what that means is that we will be able to insta-mine hardstone now. You will need 1,500 mining speed for that, which the gauntlet itself gives you. And once we have that, we can do a thing called powder grinding, which will help you get all the way up there in terms of, mining. It is the thing that separates beginner players from late game players. Now, you will be Heart of the Mountain 6, so you are going to want to upgrade this perk Mole and this perk Great Explorer. And those will allow you to get more treasure chests and mine more hardstone. Now, what I mean by that is you can mine into the wall, and you can get these things called treasure chests, which if you open them, have a chance to get powder right here. Now, I'm not going to do an in-depth tutorial on that. I do actually have a video about it that I will put on screen right now if you would like to go have a more advanced tutorial on powder grinding. But just so you know, powder grinding, it's basically one of the most important things to do in Hypixel Skyblock in order to make money. Once you have around 1 million of each powder, we can finally start to actually, make a little bit of money off mining. Now, there are two things you can do. You can either mine in the Mines of Dwarven, up in the top of it where the jade gemstones are, or you can get a ruby route, which in my opinion is much easier. It is a little bit sweatier, but it will make you more money, and it's just a bit easier. Now, I will be linking a video for ruby cores for a ruby route, and it will explain it a little better than I can. Just know that a ruby route makes a bit more money than Mines of Dwarven, although Mines of Dwarven will be slightly easier. At this point in progression, you will have Heart of the Mountain Tier 6. So what I will be explaining the best Heart of the Mountain tree for Heart of the Mountain 6. You're going to still want to use these three right here. You're going to go up to Daily Powder, Efficient Miner, over to Mining Madness, and then you will go up through Peak of the Mountain, and you will probably want to get Mole, and then Great Explorer, as well as Fortunate. Or actually, no, you're going to want to go Mole, Professional, and Fortunate. You want to make sure you have these three. If you aren't able to get Mining Madness, then just don't get it, don't get Seasoned Mineman, and go for these two and possibly Great Explorer. Now, I don't know the exact amount of Heart of the Mountain points you will have at that point. It's been a while since I was Heart of the Mountain 6. Just know that is what you should go for. If you have gotten this far into the video, then you are now at the stage of the game that I am at, which is on stuff like that. So we will be going over. We are going to be wanting to get Dwarven armor. Now, you have two options here. You can either do Nucleus runs, which is painful, or you can go to the AH and buy yourself a set of Dwarven. Now, this is going to run you a pretty penny, but it is worth it. It's going to cost you 22 million coins for the chest plate. Everything else is 18 million coins, I believe. And it's going to be pretty expensive. At this point, you're going to want to be ready to spend around 300 million coins on this. So what we're going to want to do is come to the gemstone grinder with our newly acquired Dwarven set. And I'm going to use my chest plate as an example. We just want to plop it in there. And mine is a little more than you right now. But for these 3 slots right here, you are going to flawlesses. And for this slot, you're going to want topaz. Now, before we can put gemstones on that, we actually will need an item called a gem chamber. If I search this up on the age, gemstone chamber, these are going to cost you a decent chunk of change. These were actually 8 million coins when I was buying them. They're now down to, looks like 7 mil. Actually 6 mil. I'm bad at math. But they are a little bit cheaper now. Pretty nice. But what you want to do is buy one of those, and then you would have your armor in here, and then you just click on the slot you want to unlock. I recommend doing topaz first for that pristine. In fact, you want to get perfect topaz on everything so you can max amount of pristine possible. I believe the max amount of pristine is 16. I do have. Although you may be able to put 2 topaz gemstones on a Bonstrill. I don't really. I don't know. Ignore me ranting. But you want to get this with 20 or Dwarven with 5 chambers and perfect topaz and flawless everything else. The next thing we are going to is a little something called the Artifact of Power. Now this thing lets you harness the power of all 7 gemstones. Now as you can see, I have all of them set to fine except for topaz for that extra little bit of pristine. Now you got a couple options with this. You can either sludge grind in the jungle, which I'm not going to go over. Basically just know mole and a jungle pick so that you can get it. But if we go over here, artifact, I can spell, I can't spell, but artifact of power. We need a whole lot of gemstone mixtures. I believe that is 32 in order to craft one of those. To forge it, which is a lot of fine stuff and a lot of sludge juice. I'd recommend just buying it. It would cost you around 20 mil, but it is worth it for the extra pristine. And it'll make you a whole lot more. So if we search it up on the auction house, there is actually none there. So I don't know. You may need to grind it out yourself. It doesn't look like people like to sell them a lot, but if you can buy it off the auction house, it'll be worth it. It'll save you a lot of time. Now, here comes the first optional part of progression that I'm going to suggest. Now, you can get a Scatha pet in order to do some stuff, or you can keep your bow. Now, personally, as of recent changes, I would recommend keeping your bow pet, although you can get a Scatha pet, and it is very, very good for mining in the mines of Dwarven. And it will make you slightly less money than the bow pet in the magma fields, although it is a good idea to have a Scatha at some point. Now, this is optional. This is probably one of the only things that I'm saying. You could get it, you don't have to get it, but you could. Next thing we're going to want to do is max our gemstone gauntlet. Now, I don't mean max in the way that I have. You don't need to have these set to perfect. What I mean is setting this to perfect, and this to perfect, which in total will probably run you around 30 million points. Or you could mine them out if you so choose. It may be a little hard at your stage in the game, but I mean, hey, if you got the free time, might as well do it. But you're going to want these 3 slots maxed out so that you can have the max amount of buffs from your gemstone gauntlet. At this point in the game, we are going to want gaining Heart of the Mountain 7. If you have been doing your dailies, you may already have it, but we are going to need Heart of the Mountain 7 from here onward. At this point in the game, we will be wanting to start powder grinding much more seriously. You'll need to probably dedicate around 50 hours to powder grinding in total, possibly more. I really don't know. Some people say it takes 50, some people say it takes 100. It is going to take you a while to get all the powder that you need. You are going to want to have around 4 million of each type of powder. Now, I'm currently at about 3 million and 2 million, but you're going to want around 4 million of each type of powder. Also, now you will be able to seriously consider starting to make some money off of mining, from either jade mining or ruby mining. Now, at this point in the game, you probably know what both of those are, but if you don't, I will link a video with Ruby mining with chords in the description in case you don't have that already. Now that we are Heart of the Mountain 7 and have done a decent amount of progression, we can finally go over the maxed Heart of the Mountain tree that everybody is going to be using pretty much for everything except powder grinding. So you're going to want to go mining speed, mining fortune, titanium insane, mining speed boost, daily powder, efficient miner, seasoned mineman, mining madness, peak of the mountain, and then you're up again. You're going to want to go mole, professional, lonesome miner, mining speed 2, and then fortunate, great explorer, mining fortune 2. And that will be the best thing for mining gemstones. If you have made it this far into the video, then congratulations, you are farther in mining progression than I am. I mean, not that big of a feat, I haven't been doing this for super long. But yeah, you are now farther in mining progression than me, and we will be going over what is basically late game mining progression. Like the very late game stuff that you're probably going to need like over 1 billion coins to do. Like probably around like 1.5 billion coins invested into mining alone. But let's go ahead and get started with this. First step of being, late game mining person is to be getting your Dwarven maxed. And I mean, like, no flawlesses, everything perfects, 5 chambered. You don't need, like, Legion on it or anything, and don't ask me why I bank 5 on here or why I soulbound it. I make smarter choices, trust me. But yeah, first step is maxing your Dwarven. Now, second step is, if you haven't already, you need to be getting a legendary Scathapet. Because in order to be completely maxed out with the whole mining thing, we need a Scatha. And this is just so that you're able to, do every single gemstone mining thing as efficiently as humanly possible. Most of the time, you'll be using your bow to ruby mine, but when you're not doing that, you need a Scatha. So you should have a Scathapet. Now, third part will be getting a 655. Now, if we search in X655, or if I don't suck, 655, or if we just search in titanium, titanium drill. Ah, here we go. Titanium drill DRX655. Don't know why that wasn't showing up. But we want to filter the lowest bin, and we are going to want to get a 655. Now, this is going to be significantly better than the Gemstone Gauntlet, and we're going to just want to get a basic one and then completely max it out, get compact, all that good stuff. So, completely maxed out one, if we go to here, most expensive one in the auction house, probably going to be maxed out. Just kidding, it's not. There we go. This one, no. Okay, why is nobody selling maxed one? No, this one's decently maxed. You're going to want it to look mostly like this, with all the drill engines, stuff like that, and that will basically complete most of your mining sub. You'll have the Dwarven, the Scatha, and the 655. Also, at this stage in the game, you're going to want to have around about 6 million of each powder type, or just max it out as much as you humanly can, because, yeah, you just need a no-life powder grind in order to actually make money with mining. Yay! Something that I haven't really gotten into is late game mithril mining. Now, only reason you would be doing this is if you need to level a pet, but I figured I better mention it anyway, because you won't be using it for money. But the kind of hot tree you're going to want for this is mining speed, mining fortune, mining speed boost, daily powder, efficient miner, and you're going to want to level that way up. And then you're also going to want mole, professional, and mining speed 2, and mining fortune 2. Now, you don't want to upgrade Fortunate or Professional because they won't actually give you any buffs because they only affect you when you're mining gemstones, although you will want to upgrade Mining Speed 2, Mining Fortune 2, Efficient Miner, Mining Fortune, and Mining Speed. And you'll want to do that to get the optimal number of drops, and also, if you are grinding for a pet, there is, what is it? There is one to give you more XP. I forgot where it was. I'm bad at this apparently. Oh, where is it? Okay. Well, just know that in the heart of the mountain tree, somewhere, there is, a perk that gives you more XP. Oh, never mind, here it is. Seasoned Mineman. So, yeah, when you're trying to upgrade a pet, you want to upgrade Seasoned Mineman as much as you can because it'll give you more XP, which will then give you a little bit more pet XP. Small buff, but it's very nice. Now, if you're this far into mining, I have no idea why you would be watching a tutorial on mining progression, but the next thing we would need to do is get a Dwarven's drill, which is a 1 billion coins drill. Now, what we are going to do, instead of buying the Dwarven's drill outright, we would want to buy a Dwarven's alloy and warp to the forge, because since we already have the 655 and we're going to be maxing that one out, we would want to go to the forge, item casting, and we would want to make that 655 into a Dwarven's drill using the Dwarven's alloy, 50 million coins, and your 655. And also, you are going to want to pretty much have max powder at this point, like 10 million of each powder, because why not? I don't even know if you need that much, but you just need a lot of powder. Oh yeah, and also, if you have a Dwarven's drill, stuff like that, you're going to be mining ruby a lot. Sweating the ruby routes, as the children say. Yeah, that's pretty much the last thing. That is going to be the end of the tutorial. I hope it helped you out, but, you know, this was mostly targeted towards early game players who are only going to watch like the first half-ish of the video, but I included some late game stuff in there for people who just need a little bit of help along. And yeah, I do hope it helped you. If you did, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I will hopefully see you on the next one, and goodbye.